Clutch Sports Talk Live with Ryan Flowers is presented by All Pro Digital Sports, the future in sports media content. Let's go. What up? What up? What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you guys. Welcome into another edition of Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers, man, bringing you the latest and greatest news from around sporting leagues from around the world. But today I have a special show because you know why? If you heard that, you know what that means. That means the NFL draft is upon us tomorrow night, beginning at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The NFL draft is going down. And guess what? I decided today, I said, let me take a break from about the other sports news that's going on in the world, because obviously right now the NFL draft is trumping everything, right? So I said, let me do a quick mock draft between the first and 10th pick of the first round, right? So I said, that's a good idea. Let me go ahead and select who I think might and should get drafted and why for whatever reason. So before I start with the mock draft, the draft to me is where it's very important. Why? Because it's important to Clutch Sports Talk, the show, the brand. It's because for those who know me, this is where I got my start. This is when I was inspired last year during the pandemic to start somewhat of like a live streaming show, not even live streaming, just to go on and speak about what I know, which is football. So a year ago, I decided I was looking hella bummy. Didn't have a haircut because we're in the beginning of a pandemic, but I put on a Dallas Cowboy hat and I was looking hella scruffy. And I decided, to hell with it. If you're judging me on how I look, it is what it is. But I needed to go out and kind of dispel a lot of the myths and a lot of the misinformation that people were talking about throughout social media in regards to the draft. So I decided to say, let me go out and kind of do my analysis on the NFL draft. And it was a pretty good success. And then I followed up with that by actually introducing a podcast, which was only audio. And I believe my first show was a recap of the draft. And so for me, the draft holds a very special place in my heart. This is where Clutch Sports was created. So it is what it is. Here I am now, literally a year later, I'm streaming live for you guys, keeping it moving and grooving for you guys. So make sure you guys, keep supporting me. I'm trying to get that 100 mark, man. So I need your guys' help. Head over to YouTube as soon as you can. Hit that subscribe button, man. I'm at 94, I believe, man. I just need 6 more. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the month, so I need your help. You guys got all my information scrolling down below in regards to my social media, but I need the help on the YouTube tip, man. So I got already people following, and if you're in the chat room right now, make sure you guys leave a comment. Say what's up, hello. I got my boy All Even Podcast, Barry Grant. He's already in here. He said, can't wait to hear your mock so I can criticize you. All right, slow down there, Barry. All right, he be coming with it. He's from New York, so they ain't, that's how they are. You know what I mean? But that's my guy. So without further ado, let's get into it. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but so we all know the first pick of the draft, right? And it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. So there's no surprise, right? We all know Trevor Lawrence is going to go. Need I say anything more about this pick particularly? No. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they need a quarterback, right? So why not take the best quarterback available, which is Trevor Lawrence? I do like the pairing. I do like him going to play under Urban Meyer, which I expressed that a long time ago when Urban Meyer got the job about a few months ago. I said, this is perfect. Urban's going to bring his college-style offense to the NFL where Trevor Lawrence can definitely thrive and flourish in that system. So why not take the guy? If anything, Trevor Lawrence is really good in the college style offense. And, what can I say? This is a great pick. I think, that marriage between Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence is definitely going to be really good. He can do everything. The kid is athletic. He can throw. I mean, could you sit there and nitpick certain things? Yeah, of course. Did he have the greatest last year of his college career? Maybe not in his standards as far as his freshman year, but he's still a hell of a player. And Jacksonville needs a quarterback because Gardner Minshew, that's done with. That's over with. So let me know what you think about that. But the Jacksonville Jaguars will select Trevor Lawrence as their future star down in Jacksonville. So, it is what it is. So I like I said, I like that pick. And, don't get me wrong. Jacksonville has some talent down there. They just need some coaching. And I think Urban's going to be able to do that while he's healthy, because that's one of the big things with Urban Meyer is that everywhere he goes, it starts to stress him out. And next thing you know, he's playing the health card, which, I'm not going to down him for that. But I will say they're going to have to figure it out. And hopefully he can get the Jacksonville Jaguars in the right way. And honestly, there's not going to be a lot of pressure because he's playing in Jacksonville. Now, if he was playing somewhere like in New York, then there might be a problem. But because Trevor Lawrence will be playing in Jacksonville, where it's mostly retirees, he'll be all right. So we're going to move on. So the next pick, the second pick of the 2021 draft, the Jets select Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. Now, this one is very interesting because literally after his pro day, Zach Wilson just skyrocketed. I mean, literally, like we talked about him a little bit during the season. Some people did, the real diehards of football. But for some reason, this guy just said a lot of people started, getting on the Zach Wilson bandwagon. And here he is now. He was going to be the second pick, regardless of what happened here. At least in the last 2 months, for sure, the Jets had their eyes on him. Regardless of what you read in the tea leaves, Zach Wilson is going to be the guy. I will be surprised tomorrow night if the Jets take anybody else other than Zach Wilson. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. The thing with Zach Wilson, athletically, he's super gifted. One of his biggest traits to me is he can throw off at any platform because he's athletic. He throws a nice deep ball. The only thing with him, I don't know about his competition. He hasn't really played anybody, and the games that he did play against decent, teams last year against Coastal Carolina and San Diego State, he didn't do that well. So that leads me to believe, how is that going to translate into college? Now, I get it. Some people might say, well, Ryan, we got a lot of guys that didn't go to big schools and they actually were able to flourish. And so I get all that. But for those guys that were the guys for a little bit, Zach Wilson, to me, just kind of showed up on the scene, and now he's going to be the second pick overall. If Trevor Lawrence was in the draft, he might have been the first pick. So to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And honestly, we have a Jets fan in the room back here. Wave your hand, Jets fan. He's right there. It's interesting to me that they would go and take him versus a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance. I don't know, but the New York Football Jets are going to be, I don't know, man. Like they traded away Sam Darnold. I was in the boat or the thought process of maybe you keep Sam Darnold and then you go draft a Kyle Pitts or a Jamar Chase or a Devontae Smith, or give Sam Darnold some more weapons outside. And they didn't. They traded him to replace him with another unproven quarterback. It just doesn't seem very logical to me, but that's the pick. I'm not going to say that he's not going to be the pick, because he's going to be the pick, and that's that. So moving on from the New York Jets. This is a big one. And I hope Barry Grant is still in here. The San Francisco 49ers, with the third pick overall, select quarterback Mac Jones out of University of Alabama. Roll Tide, right? Wow. So here's the thing. It's not that I don't like the pick. I think Mac Jones could be a very good quarterback. I think he's going to be going into a great system under Kyle Shanahan, which will help him. But I don't think he was the better quarterback out of Justin Fields, hell, even Zach Wilson, or even Trey Lance. The problem I have with this is that Kyle Shanahan's offense, we saw, it moves around a lot. And I think he would like to, it worked well with RG3. RG3 wasn't quite the thrower, but why not go and get a mobile quarterback or an athletic quarterback such as a Justin Fields or Trey Lance to run that particular offense? I get it. Mac Jones is kind of like, he's mature. He's safe. And the logic behind that is thinking, well, Kyle Shanahan has helped a lot of guys that were pretty average, safe, and be decent quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo, these are all safe guys. But I think if you're picking that high, you don't want to just pick average, man. You want to pick elite players, especially if they picked him at the end of the first round or somewhere else in the draft, I would be like, hell of a pick. But to get a guy that's pretty, I wouldn't say he's not elite. I don't think he does anything really elite. I think he'll probably end up being more of a game manager versus someone that's going to be super dynamic on the field. And we all know, we've watched football for quite some time, especially me. I've been watching football. I don't even know. I'm 37 years old. I've been watching football for over 20 years, right? So dynamic wins in this league. It just does. And to me, Mac Jones just doesn't jump off the page. I'm not saying he's got to have a cannon of arm, because we've seen guys that have cannons of arms, like a la Jamarcus Russell, who flamed out tremendously in his rookie campaign. But to me, Mac Jones, I don't know if he really fits what Kyle Shanahan really wants to do. I would have liked to have seen him maybe go get Justin Fields, but they're going to take Mac Jones. It's not a bad pick. I just think the value where he's being picked at, I'm not a fan of. So, like I said, I'm not down on the kid. I think he's good. He did thrive off of having a phenomenal team around him. Your offensive line just literally just blocked the hell out of everybody for you. You had a great running game in Najee Harris, and you threw literally to Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith. So, you've had a lot to, which, I can't blame him for that, but I do have to consider that in the evaluation of this kid. So moving on, this next pick is going to be surprising. With the 4th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons take Kyle Pitts, tight end out of the University of Florida. Wow. A lot of people might be surprised with that pick. I'm not. I think the Atlanta Falcons are still pretty content with Matt Ryan. And they might even move off Julio Jones. So getting Kyle Pitts, a generational type offensive player in an offensive driven league, why not? You still got, Calvin Ridley over there, who's a top tier wide receiver. Why not pair him up with Kyle Pitts? And assuming they don't even trade Julio Jones, can you imagine that passing game, that arsenal right there? Matt Ryan is like garbage all the way. The Atlanta Falcons weren't a terrible team. They lost a lot of bad games last season, a lot of games that they were winning. I mean, versus my Cowboys, I think it was week 2 or week 3. They should have won that game and they ended up losing it. There were a bunch of games that they should have won, but they didn't. I think they get their defense right. I think if they get their offense to keep stacking on top of that, because here's the deal. If you don't take a quarterback, you're not going to take a quarterback next year because the next year's draft class is not really that good. So I think the Falcons are better suited right now, going for broke, getting a Kyle Pitts. Matt Ryan can still throw the ball, and you move on from there. Kyle Pitts, I mean, honestly, from a Cowboys perspective, a Cowboys fan perspective, I would rather Kyle Pitts fall to us. But for the sake of this mock draft, I see the Falcons taking him because the guy can do everything. He can catch. He's super fast. I think he ran a 4.4. He's elusive. He can run routes, and he's a big frame. He's a big matchup. He's like DK Metcalf as a tight end. Should I say any more? Really, who has a matchup for this guy? Nobody. So why not go out and get a guy like that, a generational player, when you can get him? You know what I'm saying? So I like Kyle Pitts in this spot for Atlanta. Some people might disagree with me. Let me know what you think in the comments section, man. But I do like the Atlanta Falcons taking Kyle Pitts 4th overall in the 2021 NFL draft. All right, moving along. With the 5th overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals will select tackle Penei Sewell out of the University of Oregon. Not a big surprise here. I think the needs for the Bengals can go in 2 directions. A lot of people say, well, why not go get Jamar Chase? He played with Joe Burrow during that undefeated season. Why not go get him a weapon like that, which I get, but why not get a tackle in Penei Sewell? Why not shore up your best player on your team by getting some guy that can help block for him? I feel like there are other good receivers that the Bengals can probably go back and get to help Joe Burrow, but a guy like a Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, those guys just don't come falling off trees. So I think the Cincinnati Bengals need to protect their investment in Joe Burrow, and they need to go out and get a tackle, because honestly, in football, there's 2 positions you have to take care of: your quarterback and your left tackle, depending on which way your quarterback throws. Why? Because your quarterback, he controls the plays, and guess what? Your tackles block for your quarterback. And then we saw in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. Why? Because he didn't have sufficient linemen helping him block. So I like Penei Sewell in this particular spot. Rashawn Slater was kind of close, but I still like Sewell over Rashawn Slater. There's more body of work that I saw for Sewell. Sewell is a beast. Throw on the game tape for him. He plays with aggression. This dude is violent. So I like the Bengals taking an offensive lineman in this part. So moving on. With the 6th overall pick, the Miami Dolphins select Jamar Chase out of the Louisiana State University. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, people forgot about this kid. He didn't play this last season. He sat out due to COVID, but this guy's a beast. He's got the frame of a number 1. He can run like a gazelle. I really like this pick. I think people forgot about him because he didn't play. Honestly, if he probably suits up, he's in that Heisman contention, and maybe Devontae Smith doesn't even get selected to be the Heisman. And definitely, I think the Dolphins are going to be committed to Tua for at least a year or 2. And if you're going to commit to him, why not surround him with offensive talent like a Jamar Chase? Because really, they don't have a number 1. Devontae Parker's a nice receiver, but he's not a number one. Mike Gesicki, he's a pretty good tight end, so why not build on that? Your defense is pretty stout. I like your head coach. I like the direction in which the Miami Dolphins are moving or trending, but this is it for Tua, man. You gotta deliver, Tua. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not there anymore, so you don't have to really look over your shoulder and looking for someone to come get you to pull you out during the game. So this pick for me shows that the Miami Dolphins are definitely in the Tua bandwagon, and they're gonna remain there unless proven otherwise. So I do like that pick. I do like that pick right there. So nothing. I mean, like I said, the Dolphins are literally on the verge. Now they have to worry about the Patriots. The Patriots might be better. The Bills, they have to worry about. The Jets. Unfortunately for you Jets fans, I don't think they really have to worry too much about the Jets. So that's the division that they can either compete to be number one or at least finish second to get in a wild card, which they competed, for that last year, but they dropped some games towards the end. So I do like that pick. Now, the next pick, with the 7th pick overall, the Detroit Lions select Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern University. This one was tough because the Lions need everything. The Lions need offense, they need defense, they need a head coach, they need offensive linemen. So I chose to go with an offensive lineman. Why? Because they need to protect Jared Goff. They just made the trade for him, trading Matthew Stafford away to LA. Why not protect Jared Goff? He's not a mobile, athletic quarterback. I think Jared Goff is decent enough to maybe help out their offensive talent that they do have there. You still have a Hawkinson there if he stays healthy. Kenny Galladay moved on to New York. So I could have went wide receiver there as well, but I think they need to, again, you need to protect your investment, and the most important position in pro football is the quarterback position. So why not go and get an offensive tackle to help shore up that offensive line? Excuse me, because really, off the top of my head, I cannot think of the last time the Detroit Lions had a all-pro lineman. It's been a while. So I think Rashawn Slater, he's a plug-and-play type player right now. You put him in there, he'll definitely help you out. But they're going to have to go back into the draft somewhere and get some picks. And mind you, I forgot to say this as a disclaimer. The picks that I'm picking, this is the order right now as it stands. I know some people do mock draft picks with like potential trades. I'm not going to do potential. This is what the order is right now until further notice. So, but like I said, the Lions need a lot of stuff. And I think that the Lions definitely can benefit from having an offensive tackle like that to help Jared Goff, who isn't the most mobile quarterback in the National Football League. All right. Moving right along with the 8th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers take Devontae Smith out of the University of Alabama. Another Roll Tide player gets taken off the draft board. I like this pick here because, the Carolina Panthers don't need a quarterback. They just traded away Teddy Bridgewater today to the Denver Broncos. And they're all in for Sam Darnold. So why not get him some more talent, some more skilled players? Now they have Robbie Anderson, they have DJ Moore, they have Ian Thomas at tight end, and then they have Christian McCaffrey. Why not go out and get a nice speedster slot guy, real quick? Heisman winner, Devontae Smith. A lot of people are concerned about his size and his stature. I'm not that, because I feel like Matt Rule, who's an offensive guy, I think they can be creative with the Devontae Smith. You can line him up in the slot. You can move him around. You can give him on jet sweeps. You can get him on quick outs, speed outs, come acrosses, drags, quick slants, things of that nature, where he doesn't have to worry about taking the hits. You look at like a Deshaun Jackson, a guy like that who's had a pretty decent career, given his size. But what does Deshaun Jackson do better than a lot of people? He can beat you deep. And I think Devontae Smith can definitely thrive with having this particular players are surrounding him down in Carolina. Because I think Carolina, I was thinking linebacker here with Micah Parsons, but I said, you know what? Offense wins a lot of football games in the National Football League. And if you just traded for a quarterback, why not set him up for success by going out and getting him some weapons? I think, like I've always said this, there's a lot of defensive talent in this draft. So go out and get a generational player. I wouldn't say super generational, but a guy like a Swiss Army knife like Devontae Smith and help your football team out day one. And we're almost done, man. So moving on to the 9th pick, the Denver Broncos select Justin Fields out of the University of Ohio State. Now, a lot of people are probably surprised that I would take Justin Fields for the Denver Broncos, given the fact that they just traded for Teddy Bridgewater. I will say this, Teddy Bridgewater is not the dude. He is a stopgap, okay? He's a guy to kind of transition you through a period where you may have a young quarterback like a Justin Fields. He's not going to be your number one guy. He's not your starter. He'll be nice. He can help start some games. Maybe teach Justin Fields. I like this pick for the Denver Broncos just for the fact that they need a quarterback. Drew Lock is not going to be the guy, obviously. Maybe in another system, maybe Drew Lock would have been the guy. But for today, Justin Fields will be the guy in Denver because I just feel like Denver Broncos need a quarterback. Again, they probably could have went Micah Parsons again for defense. But if you can get yourself a top-tier quarterback, a guy that can start, 5-10 years for you, you got to go out and get that guy. Like I said, people are like, well, they just got Teddy Bridgewater. Doesn't matter. Teddy Bridgewater is a stopgap guy. He's not going to be the guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl. He's not that dynamic. He doesn't push the ball down the field. One thing about Justin Fields, what I like about him, he can definitely push the ball down the field. He's willing to push the ball down the field, which we saw him do against Clemson and plenty other times. Now, he does have to calm down on the turnovers. His last year at Ohio State, he did have a lot of turnovers, but hopefully that'll stop. And he might have a chip on his shoulder because he probably feels that he should have been the number one pick, or at least number two. He's probably thinking, Zach Wilson got picked over me. Zach Wilson probably wasn't even an elite 11 quarterback prospect in high school, even with Mac Jones. So Justin Fields definitely has something to prove. And the Denver Broncos do have a nice offensive package. You got Jerry Jeudy. What's the kid they drafted out of Penn State last year? Ken Hamlin, I think his name was. He's a speedster out of Penn State. You have a really good tight end down there. And they got some other guys. What's the other guy? I forgot the other wide receiver's name, who's a really good one too. His name just slipped my mind, but those guys got to stay healthy. But they do have something going on there. If they get a Justin Fields, maybe they have a chance. Because here's the thing in the AFC West, you got to have a good quarterback. You got Patrick Mahomes you're competing against twice a year. Justin Herbert, you got to play twice a year. Derek Carr is not that bad. I know a lot of people think he sucks, but he's not that bad. And we'll find out tomorrow night what the Raiders do, but he's not that bad. And Teddy Bridgewater, when you say that, it's like, it's cool, but he's not somebody that you're really going to be like, oh yeah, like we can compete against these other teams in the AFC West. So I do like Justin Fields in this spot. Man, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Am I totally off on that? But anyway, with the final pick of the Clutch Sports Talk mock draft, picks 1 through 10, the Dallas Cowboys select Patrick Surtain Jr. out of the University of Alabama. This one I really, really struggled with. I think Patrick Surtain is ready to go right now. He can play man. He's aggressive. His athleticism is tremendous, out the charts. He's got good size. I struggled between him and J.C. Horn because I feel like J.C. Horn is more of a ball hawk. I feel like J.C. Horn is a little bit more, he can get those turnovers. And for those of you who are Cowboys fans or, are familiar with the Cowboys, we don't have a lot of turnovers. We don't generate a lot of turnovers. And I think, but I ended up going with Surtain just because he's a ready-to-go guy. Now, Horn is a little bit more raw, but if I just need someone to plug and play today, you line him up across Trayvon Diggs. The Cowboys have a two nice pair of cornerbacks because that's what they needed. And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if some of the offensive linemen that were available, like a Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, were there. Maybe the Cowboys take him, or even Micah Parsons again, because the linebacking core is a little suspect right now in Dallas. But with that said, I think Patrick Surtain is a plug and play player right now. There's some other guys like a Caleb Farley. He's got some injury concerns, but he's another guy who's a ball hawk. But if I had to play it safe right now, I'd have to go with Patrick Surtain Jr. Only if Kyle Pitts wasn't there. If Kyle Pitts was there, I'd be like, look, we need to take him. We need to take him right now. So that's it, man. So just to recap, we got Trevor Lawrence going number 1, Zach Wilson going number 2, Mac Jones going 3, Kyle Pitts number 4, Penei Sewell 5, Jamar Chase going 6 to the Dolphins, Rashawn Slater going 7 to the Detroit Lions, Devontae Smith going 8 to the Carolina Panthers, Justin Fields sliding to number 9, going to the Denver Broncos, and rounding out the top 10, Patrick Surtain Jr. goes to the Dallas Cowboys. So Pretty quick. I really didn't want to do 32 teams because I feel like that's a lot, and I don't have the time for that. Just keeping it real. But other than that, let me know what you guys think. Like I said, tomorrow, make sure, please, if turn on the draft, watch the draft, of course, but have me on in the background because I'm definitely going to be breaking down each pick. It's going to be a fun night. We got lots of guests stopping by, like my boy Barry Grant Jr., if he's still in there. I got Bryson Carver from the Carving Up podcast. I got Complicated Kai with his production company doing a lot of things. Some other people stopping by too. The Realest Cowboy for you Cowboy fans. So we got lots going on tomorrow, man, and a plethora of other people stopping by. So you don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys join that live stream tomorrow night. It's going to be popping, man. But other than that, that's it. That concludes the mini Clutch Sports Talk mock draft. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, leave some comments, suggestions down below. If you watch the video later, I appreciate it. But other than that, man, that's all I got. I'm out. So make sure you guys catch my show tomorrow night and look out for all the other videos. And make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube right now if you're watching on YouTube. I appreciate that. But until tomorrow night, everyone, you guys be safe. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Let's go. Clutch Sports Talk Live with Ryan Flowers is presented by All Pro Digital Sports, the future in sports media content. Let's go.